I wish that you will all give a great welcome to Andrew Breitbart. Thank you. What's the name of that diet you told me?
Metafast.
Metafast. That's why they're called the big sites.
He's a big man.
Because I'm a big guy. Now the reason I named all the sites big was because I'm obsessed with the left's ability to control the national narrative, whether it be in academia, whether it be in Hollywood, whether it be in the mainstream media, and they could take a sector of the American economy and put the big next to it, big pharma, big oil, as a means to make the productive class guilty about being the productive class. And so I said, I'll do it back at them. So it started with big Hollywood. I just wanted to, I think it's neutralized their ability to use that. I'd like to think that it has. What do I do for a living? Let me explain to you the thought process that goes into what I do. If you spent any appreciable amount of time with me on a given day, I, under my breath, state, I hate these effing people, at least 1,000 times. I'm not kidding. I hate these people. I hate them to the core of my being. And by that, I'll tell you who I hate. I hate the institutional left and what they've done to this country and what they've done to this country intentionally. I'm just a secular Jew from West Los Angeles. How did this happen? I graduated from Tulane University in 1991, 20 years ago. I was a decadent bastard. And I think that which saved me from full indoctrination and leftism was alcohol. Because when I was undergoing the American Studies degree process, think about that, American Studies. I chose it, I kid you not, because I was 3 months late in announcing my major, and I went to a bunch of Southern sorority girls, which is why I went to Tulane in the first place, and said, you're going to choose for me my major, and they chose American Studies, and I thought I'd read Mark Twain and Emily Dickinson and get into the Founding Fathers and the Constitution, Declaration of Independence, the Federalist Papers, but no. American Studies got me into Herbert Marcuse, Theodore Adorno, Horkheimer, Heidegger. What was that? And when I graduated, easily less intelligent than when I went in to college. And they had extracted from me the only positive quality that my parents instilled in me when I was in high school at an elite liberal prep academy in West Los Angeles, where the Hollywood stars and the executives kids go, default culture live. The only thing that my restaurateur father owner instilled in me was a work ethic, which was based upon the idea that he told me that he's not going to buy me these CDs and like compact discs at the clip that I wanted. So I delivered pizza, and I flipped hamburgers, and I was the only person in Brentwood school to have like a job after school. And the American Studies program even zapped that away from me. Because what it was in hindsight, I deconstructed, to use their language, what they taught me. When I realized that I was worthless in the workplace upon graduating with an American Studies degree, I couldn't do anything. I didn't want to do anything because the system was an inherently unfair system I was taught. and I was a victim. How can you grow up a privileged kid at a private school in Brentwood, Jewish, and believe that you're a victim? The power of critical theory and cultural Marxism is so powerful that you can be Ariana Huffington or Lori David on the west side of Los Angeles and believe to the core of your being that you're a victim of an oppressive society. And I graduated, and I started waiting tables, and I started, in a humiliating fashion, serving people that I went to high school and college with. And it was hideous. And it's the best thing that ever happened to me, because I learned not to care. And that's what I want to teach people within the conservative movement. We are on the precipice of losing our country. And it is time not to care what your liberal neighbors think anymore. And it's time to get dirty and fight to save this country from the institutional left. Thank you. Can you predict that I'm going to have a cough in the future? That is amazing. Wow, how did you do that?
I'm a dad, I got 6 kids.
All right. I started to read the books that I avoided in college, and I started to look and see what the left is about and how the left could infiltrate a country that was built upon the concept of the middle class and the middle class work ethic, and on e pluribus unum, and that we're a country that came from all over the place, but we were one from many, and how it could be deconstructed and turned into multiculturalism, which puts people into separate, that the same one separates the people into different groups. African American over here, female over here, Hispanic over here, now LBGT, bacon, lettuce, and tomato included, over here, and we're all victims. And the Democratic Party serves those different groups and ensures that they're pitted against each other every election cycle. It's a dystopia. They speak of utopia, but it is a dystopia. And in theory, we could make that argument that it doesn't work. We go, look at your Venezuela doesn't work. It didn't work in the Soviet Union. It doesn't work in Cuba, though you say it does, and you go down there and you go on your little Potemkin village trips down there and you say how great it is, but it doesn't work anywhere. But in the United States, the academic left has always spoken in theory. And if we could do it, it would be better if we did it in the United States. That's why I am so profoundly grateful that the institutional left has decided, out of pure desperation, as a result of the greatest thing to happen in my lifetime, and perhaps in the last 100 years, the emergence of the Tea Party. And that is not anyone that thinks that the Tea Party is simply a reaction to government spending is missing the point. This group of people spontaneously pointed to the Constitution and America's foundings and said,